All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. So I hope y'all aren't tired of me already. I know I've been on Facebook a lot and sending a lot of messages. Again, just feel like it's crunch time a little bit here on the at the end of May, and just wanting to again make sure that we position ourselves in the best position to win this primary. But if I know a lot of you guys out there, but again, I'm Stacy Crossland. I'm running for House District 27. And just a tiny bit before we get started, just to let you know why I entered this race. I am an educator. I've been a public educator for 27 years, and in the past couple of years, there was a lot of turmoil in Frankfurt when it came to teachers' pensions, and just to be honest, teachers felt like that they were made the scapegoats, and and that the former governor really said some bad things about us that put us on the defense. But our main grief was with wanting to have changes to our pension, which had been underfunded for years. And so I became very active. I've always been very active in politics, and thought it's important to research people and throw your support behind people you think will be good legislators. So just as a district, we became very active in Meade County and just following and advocating for ourselves when it came to teacher pensions. So once we made it through that whole process and came out on the end where we were satisfied, then the governor's election came up, and several of us teachers decided to get involved with trying to get Andy Beshear elected. And so we did lots and lots of door-to-door, knocking on doors all throughout Meade County. And as we spoke with people, we kept hearing the same things over and over again. So while teachers were worried about their pensions, lots and lots of people were worried about their health care. And there were a lot of proposals in Frankfurt at the time, which has, supermajority, Republican supermajority, both the House and Senate, where they were throwing around ideas of taking away protections for pre-existing conditions, and rolling back Medicaid expansion, and that was just really on people's minds. So as we were knocking on doors, and we just decided that we needed to run a candidate. And so I was the one that was selected out of our group. A lot of it was from I was the one with the oldest children, and it was in the best position to run for office. And I'm also been teaching had been teaching the longest. So that's what brought me here. And I'm very excited to talk to you guys tonight. And tonight was really supposed to be all about you. And just if there is, I want to know what people in District 27, what are your main concerns? What are the things that you are worried about? What are the issues? I wish we were on a Zoom meeting so that we could talk back and forth. So we're going to have to kind of go through the comments. And so if you are listening, just tell me, what is it that is most important to you? Is it healthcare right now? Is it the coronavirus? Have you lost your job? Is it taxes, tax reform? If you are a farmer out there, are you concerned about what has all gone down in Meade County with Nucor? So if you would, I'm just going to give you all just a moment. Give me a couple topics of things that are most important to you. Now, if you are not from District 27, every person that we send to Frankfurt has an impact, because many of the things that are voted on are statewide, laws that are statewide. And so it's important to you who gets elected, even if that person is not in your district. So if you are with us tonight and you're not in District 27, again, tell me things that you are concerned about. So I'm going to pause. I think I have shy people out there tonight. All right, so this is like being a teacher when you ask a question and nobody answers. I've been in this situation. That is perfectly fine. Again, I want to value your time, so I will tell you some things that are important to me that I am willing to fight for. Number one, fully funding public education. I think every child in the state of Kentucky, no matter what their zip code, deserves a free and quality public education. And so we are not going to cut our way out of this issue. We need to make sure that we are supporting those schools and they have the resources they need to help make every child successful. Number two, I also believe that every person in Kentucky needs to have access to affordable health care, and we need to make that happen. We have covered lots of people through the Medicaid expansion, so of course I am opposed to rolling that back. And there's been a lot of things that have been done lately where we have passed laws to help with insulin, the cost of insulin, to keep people from price gouging with insulin, because people need that. That's a life-saving drug and life-sustaining drug. And so I think healthcare, especially coming out of this pandemic, we are going to have to make sure that everyone, because we don't know how long we're going to be in this, and also we're finding out that some people are recovered and then symptoms come back. So we want to make sure that we are able to take care of every Kentuckian and make sure they have quality health care. And then finally, I'm really interested in tax reform. I think it's about time for Kentucky to look at our tax policies. We want to make sure that they are not regressive. We want to make sure that it's a fair policy where people are paying, what they're able to pay. That we aren't putting an undue burden on the people that have the least amount of money. And we need to look at all of our tax exemptions. And again, we want to be pro-business. We want to encourage business in Kentucky. But when we give away $13 billion in tax credits, but only collect $11 billion, you guys know that doesn't work. That wouldn't work for a family. You cannot be giving away more than what you're bringing in. So we need to really take a look at our tax policy. So those were three things that were really important to me. And, I also, a big issue right now is labor. And I think that we just have to take a look and step back. And I think that we need to realize that you don't have to choose. You can't be pro-business or pro-labor. We're going to have to start working together and finding, some common ground to where employees feel appreciated and have some of the benefits that they need and desire, but also that our businesses are going to be able to make a profit. So that is another issue that I think is really important in Kentucky that we need to look at. The one thing I tell people is, you can ask me anything. I'm not going to be expert on all topics, but I will do the work. I'll do the research. But most importantly, I'm going to listen. If I am elected, I'm going to listen to my constituents, and I want to know what your concerns are, what's working for you, what's not working for you, and what are the things you want me to advocate for in Frankfort. So. Again, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I wanted to leave just with one thing, and then next week we're going to pick a specific topic to talk about. But I was asked, I was filling out my umpteenth survey to try to get information out there, and I was asked, which was kind of different. It wasn't a position. The question was, what do you want people to know about you as a candidate? And so I sat down and I just, kind of cleared my brain and just started writing. And they wanted 3 key messages. And so I want to end with what I shared, because I think a really important thing to remember when you're thinking about who you're going to vote for, it's very important to just know, who do you trust? Who do you think is a responsible person? And when someone doesn't have a record of how they voted, you really just have to look at the type of person they are. You need to look at their education, their work background, and experience. And again, and a lot of times it's one of those things where it's kind of a gut feeling of, do I trust that person? Do I think that they'll be responsible? Will they advocate for me? So I'm going to share my 3 reasons, 3 things about me as a candidate, and I'm going to read it if you all don't mind. First, I said the reason I feel like people should vote for me is because I'm honest, trustworthy, and have a servant's heart. My entire adult life has been dedicated to serving the public in my professional and private life. I'm also a good listener and a skilled mediator. As a legislator, I will strive to reach across the aisle to find common ground, to develop responsible and fair legislation. I also know that a good leader, though, needs to have the wisdom to know when you want to work towards a compromise and when you need to stand your ground. And then finally, I have no desire to become a career politician. I'm just an average citizen who wants to see the government working for the people and not for big money, for big corporate interests, or for divisive political agendas. So that's a little bit about me, and I appreciate you guys being here. I've got a message, want to see. Okay, so it says there was a couple questions that I didn't see, so let me look and see. Oh my goodness, okay, let's see. I did not scroll down, how about that? So, Andrea, we have someone here that says that agrees that we want to fully fund public education. And Dusty asked me, why do I believe that I would be an excellent legislator? And I think I just shared that. And Allison, what do you think is going to happen with the Kentucky budget because of the drastic turndown in the economy? Well, it really depends. It's going to depend if the federal government is going to step up and provide some relief for state and local government. If they choose not to do that, then it's going to be extremely tough. And so we're going to not have a recession. It's going to turn into very much a crisis. So we want to, I think we're going to all have to make sacrifices. I think that the budget is going to be tighter. And so we are, again, you still have to look at your priorities. But, I think everyone will understand that we're going to have to, it's going to be a lean budget as we recover and recover from this slowdown in our economy. But we will recover. I'm very confident in that. All right, so let's see. Question, are we at a point in the crisis where we can begin opening back up safely? And the answer to that is yes. I don't know if you all noticed today, I shared an article, and it said that there were only 2 states that were actually ready to start opening back up according to the CDC recommendations, and out of the 2 was Kentucky. So that is fantastic. And that is, credit to all of Kentuckians who have worked together and followed all the guidelines. And so, yes, we are definitely ready, I think, to start opening back up. But I think it has to be a gradual opening. As you all have seen, we opened up healthcare, and it all didn't open up at the same time. It was a gradual, phased in. And now we're starting to open up our businesses. The one thing I would love is to see as Kentuckians, as for us, it's getting kind of, I know you've seen this back and forth about wearing masks or not wearing masks, and it's getting a little bit ugly. Up to this point, I feel like we have been united, and with a united cause. And so the one thing I would ask people is to really, to just be considerate and to be kind, and do your own research and find out why it's important to wear a mask, because actually you're not protecting yourself, you're protecting someone else, and that's a little bit different. It's a different way of thinking. And so when I put a mask on and I'm out in public, I'm doing that because I am trying not to, if I happen to be infected, to infect other people. But again, we do have free will in this country, and there's going to be people who don't wear masks. And so what we have to do is just again keep our distance and do all the other things we know to keep ourselves safe as we open up the economy. All right, let me see if there's anything else. I think that is it. So thank you guys. Like I said, I really, really appreciate you tuning in. So we will be here every Thursday until the primary. So if you have any questions later, you want to email me to ask, that would be wonderful. Or if you want to give me your phone number and you'd like to actually have a one-on-one conversation. But I hope everyone got out today and enjoyed the absolutely beautiful weather. And I think that we're done for tonight. So thank you so much, and see you next week.